All right, we're back. I'm Waldorf.
And I'm Statler.
Got that right again. And this is going to be section 19, which is scoring and victory conditions.
V for victory.
Exactly. Scoring and victory. So, what do we have here? We have
how you score points.
how you score points at the end of the game. For each enemy unit that has been killed or fled the battlefield, you gain a number of victory points equal to its point value.
Yep.
Nothing changed. Same as it's always been.
And dead or things that have run off the table, you get full victory points, same as it was before.
Yep. Scared. Scared is if you're fleeing but haven't made it off the table, you give up half your victory points.
Right.
Round up.
And decimated is if you're below, it's at or below 25%.
At or below, yes. Significant.
You give up half your victory points.
Right.
And a little section that's in black but should be in blue, if you're both scared and decimated, you give up all your victory points.
Give up all your victory points.
This is a big determining, so you don't have to go chasing after stuff on sometimes when you can get them to a particular point.
Correct.
On the last turn of the game in particular.
Now, both scared and decimated were not there in the official 8th edition last rules.
That's true.
But I think everyone pretty much played with them as they were.
Everyone played the comps packs that had that.
King is dead, you get 100 points for killing the general.
4 and flag is down, it's the same as it was
100
before.
points. The normal standards now give you 50 instead of 25.
Right.
Makes them a little more significant.
I like this and I don't like this.
Discourages the use of banners for MSU.
Discourages for MSU or any kind of light cab units, etc. And the banners look so nice in units. I mean, I usually put them in my units just because they look nice, even when I don't pay for them. So, I kind of wish they would have done something a little different. Maybe tied it to the points of the unit or something.
Right, because you're right. I agree with you on that. That the banners add an element to the visual element to the game. It makes the army look better if they've got banners.
Right, and frankly
and I've got to tell you, as a tournament player, I don't use a lot of banners because of the points you're giving the opponent.
Absolutely. You got some little crappy little goblin standard. Is that, or some men-at-arms standard? Is that as much as a big blood knight standard?
Right.
So.
Now the scoring secondary objectives. This we kind of talked about in the earlier section about the secondary objectives. Now the scoring value of them. For the hold your ground, the most scoring objectives within 6 inches of the center of the board gives you the bonus.
Right.
This, I don't know, this kind of helps the Death Star unit to a certain extent, because it can move up to towards the center of the board and just kill anything that comes near it.
Right.
But of course, the opponent has the option to try to sneak in there with 2 units.
Well, it becomes you're maneuvering. You're trying to keep. If you're playing like MSU, you're trying to keep your guys alive until the last turn of the game.
Right, and then jump for that.
And jump in there to outnumber it, or hopefully you can wipe out the rest of his army.
Right.
But I don't know.
The breakthrough is player with the most scoring units within the opponent's deployment zone at the end of the game wins this. This is a good one simply because the dwarves are going to rarely get it.
Well, it depends how they play their dwarves now. I mean, they march faster than humans, so
it's a good point, but
they can shoot you up in the first 4 turns, then blitz forward.
Then try to blitz forward for it. Yeah, I guess, but
so I think this is pro hordes. I'm sorry, pro mass armies,
right?
High figure count armies where you have lots of units,
right?
And you can just wave them in there.
You also got to remember this is scoring units, so units with a banner.
Oh, absolutely. I'm saying, okay. If you can afford, like Skaven, you got a lot of relatively cheap guys you can put standards in,
right? So
you can overwhelm. Whereas an elite army may only have a couple standards.
That's true.
So you can play that game and try not to fight the strong stuff or clog them up, so you can get all your banners in there. So this helps those bigger type of when I say horde, I don't mean necessarily hordes as formation, but
right.
Multi-formation. Multi-formation guys. They can put a lot of cheap guys on with standard that have nominal fighting ability.
Capture the flag. Player that has the highest number of its chosen standard bearer still alive at the end of the game wins the secondary objectives. Captured standards not considered alive for this purpose. This is the one where you choose 3 banners on the opponent's side that matter, right?
Right. And to me, this is the Death Star. This is pro Death Star. I think this just came in the last edition. I think it was a bad ad because, well, you only have a couple of standards. You have to kill that Death Star to get that last standard.
Correct.
Right. You're playing an MSU or even an MMU list. The guy's going to pick those units. He's going to do whatever he can, whether it's shooting or magic, just to get rid of those units. Yes, and if you're MSU, they're not too hard to get rid of.
Correct.
So since it's the active player choosing, then yeah, I think this was a bad ad actually.
We got the last one at the end of the game. Scoring secure target. Player controlling the most markers wins this. Objectives is the one where you place the 2 markers somewhere on the board outside of your deployment zone. Markers considered controlled by the player with the most scoring units within 6 inches of the marker.
I like this one the most. I wish it was 3 markers.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned this before, but the problem with that is it means somebody gets to place 2, unless you were saying what you did.
You just say you always put the first one always goes in the middle of the table,
right?
And then you place 2, and the other guys place 2 other ones.
Right, that's a good point.
And then I think that would have made this a little more interesting. I like the concept of the secondary objectives. I like how they give you victory points. Mm-hmm. I just think that they seem to be mostly anti-MSU.
Right.
Except for the dance with the devil on the hold your ground
one. Yeah.
Maybe to a point with probably not secure your target because even MSU you're not going to have that many standards running around to claim them.
Good point.
So, and you're probably going to they're going to dominate one side of them. So yeah, unless they do more stuff against Death Stars or powerful units, I'm not sure. I'm a huge fan of a number of these.
Next one is just defining the scoring units.
Right.
Scoring units used for capturing secondary objectives. All units with a standard bearer, excluding this BSB, are scoring units, unless your light troops, you're fleeing, the unit ambushed or entered the battlefield in game turn 4 or later, and the unit performed a post-combat reform this phase.
Right.
The light troops takes away the fast cav stuff.
Well, a lot of the medium cav too.
And a lot of the medium cav.
There aren't fast cav necessarily.
Right. The unit of fleeing, of course, that's kind of a no-brainer. That should be there. The unit ambushed, you don't want somebody ambushing in late and just coming where you've never had a chance to deal with them. And this is the new one. This is this end one. The unit has performed a post-combat reform.
Right.
So this basically means you can't reform into a odd formation just to get close to a
which is I guess
flag.
the primary. I think one of the primary reasons they made that rule change. But I like all these.
Yep, I agree.
If it was just easier to get some standard bearers without such a penalty.
Yes.
But, yeah. Who's the winner? Basically, they just incorporated the old tournament 20-0 system, but you can't maximize points unless you win your secondary objectives.
Correct. Actually, close to the 20-0. They went 17-3, I guess.
Right, but if you get the
with the bonus,
the bonus, you can get the 20-0. Yeah,
gotcha.
So you have to wipe out the army and you have to achieve the objectives. So you're more of a tournament person than I am.
No, this looks kind of normal. I mean, it's the 100. I mean, most tournaments are using the 100, 150 range, sometimes even 200 bands, but is using 125, which is fine. What's that, 5%?
Yeah.
Breakdown per level? That's fine.
No, I think it's nice, and it's in the rules.
So
it's no longer this tournament does this tournament does that.
But I think we're still seeing that. Tournaments I haven't seen adopt this yet.
Yeah.
Which I would like. I think will happen.
I think people are still holding on back to what we were saying before. You know, some of their old ways. They just haven't let go of it yet. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I agree. So I like this. And then they have the optional simplified rules for determining the winner.
Yep.
This is more the kind of the pickup games or whatever, where it really doesn't matter how much you won by.
This is more my speed.
Objectives are scored if you're equal to 20% of the size of the game. If you are less than 10% apart in their victory points, it's a draw.
Right.
If you're 10 to 50, it's a win, and if you're over 50%, it's a massacre.
Right.
Very simple, quick things for pickup games.
Yeah,
right?
and it's it's better for some of the less hard armies, the more maneuverable armies.
Right.
They can, allows you to go pick off things on the flank and squeak by a win.
Try to squeak by.
Which in the tournament might destroy your opportunity to win.
Yes, win the tournament
because you're not getting enough high scores to
right.
get the top tables.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the thing in a tournament. You have that opponent you don't think you can beat, but you got to go for that.
Yep.
Go for that squeak win or take the minor loss.
Right.
So that you can hammer
right.
the next.
But in a tournament, you need that because you have to when you have 100 people as you kind of see. I think you're going to see more of again.
I hope so.
In this area, that you're gonna, you need those points to spread people out. So
yeah. So
I think it's all good.
Yeah. No, I really like this. I really like the 20-0 system that they built into the rules now.
Yeah.
I think that's a plus.
Yeah. So my only gripe is I think the objectives, the secondary objectives, need a little bit of rethink in the context of play styles and the impact they'll have on meta in tournaments.
Yeah, they seem to be trying to get rid of Death Stars, but
right.
This kind of, I don't know.
In some cases, it still
supports them a little bit.
Right.
All right.
And some of that's also the nature of the army books. So you can deal with it. You can deal with it in army books, or you can deal with it in the how
the rules.
Command works and victory
right.
conditions. So it'd probably be easier for them to deal with it in the rules than try to modify every single army book.
Right.
To try to control it.
That's a good point. I agree.
Then you wouldn't have some of these arguments, Yeah.
So there you go. That's scoring and victory conditions.
Yep. And we'll be back.
Moving on. Thank you.